Okay, guys, ready for a small presentation?
Yes.
So, first I want to introduce myself. Hello, I'm Jürgen. I have a bachelor in informatics, and currently I'm writing a master thesis about blockchain in the supply chain with Anders over there. So, who here has just about heard about blockchain? Who here owns a cryptocurrency? Ooh. Who in this room indirectly or directly works with blockchain? Okay, cool. First, I'm going to show an explainer video from a consulting company that makes blockchain solutions. Yeah, let's go.
The blockchain is the most transformational technology since the internet. The internet has succeeded by forever changing the way we move and send data, voice and video, but the missing piece has always been secure asset transfer. The blockchain is exactly the technology to make this happen because it allows you to digitize anything of value, any assets, place that asset into a certificate, locate the certificate on the blockchain and start transacting, finally gets rid of all the paper. Here are 4 key facts everyone should know about the blockchain. 1. Moving an asset across the blockchain is secure, transparent, easy and low cost. With the advent of the blockchain, now any person anywhere in the world with a phone can move an asset peer-to-peer. 2. The blockchain is secure by design. In the 8 years since its creation, the Bitcoin blockchain, otherwise known as the public blockchain, has never been successfully hacked. In a world where cybersecurity is a major threat, security matters. Each transaction is recorded on thousands of computer nodes throughout the world, making it impossible for anyone to make a transfer and ensuring every transfer is secure. Any attempt at fraud, duplication or tampering would be easily detected and recognized, and the blockchain system would make it transparent. 3. The blockchain is the newest tool in fighting cybercrime. Thanks to the support and leadership of the Bitcoin Group and others, national security and law enforcement authorities have established the Blockchain Alliance, a public-private forum with some of the brightest minds in the industry entirely focused on combating criminal activity in the digital space. 4. The blockchain's potential is much greater than finance alone. If the blockchain can ensure successful transfer of currency, surely this can be done with other assets. Land titles, health records, your vote. The possibilities are limitless. Everyone who cares about making opportunity available to all, the rule of law, transparency, and the power of the people to have a voice and say in their future should be interested in the blockchain. The Bitcoin Group is a full-service technology company dedicated to global change for better, and we are the industry leader and the largest private infrastructure provider in the blockchain ecosystem. The Bitcoin Group develops and delivers both the software and the hardware solutions necessary for businesses, governments, organizations and individuals to securely move an asset across the blockchain. With the help and expertise of the Bitcoin Group, we will ensure that you will successfully plug into the blockchain. We make it easy, fast, cost-effective and secure. With this missing piece of the internet finally in place, we don't have to wonder what if anymore. The future is here.
Okay. So what is the main point of this video? The main point of this video is that we can do secure asset transfers. So let's rewind to the 1990s and the 1980s. Now we have something new called the internet. And what is the main thing we can do? It is transferring information freely between everyone who has an internet connection. If I publish something on the internet, anyone with an internet connection can view my content, copy it, upload it to someone else, do whatever they want. Now we have the blockchain, and the blockchain enables a new paradigm, which is the internet of value. On the internet of value, everyone can transfer an asset such as land ownership, money, peer-to-peer. Right now, if I want to transfer money from my bank account to, let's say, Anders, The bank is going to use multiple days to do the transfer. It's going to involve some actors, middlemen who are going to get paid. With the Internet of Value, I can just do it directly on the blockchain, and I pay like 0.3% fee, maybe, or less. It's like nothing. So, what is so cool about the blockchain? Smart contracts. So, what is a smart contract? We have contracts now. You can have a contract for shipping, for example, blah, 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 but they're very slow. Okay, I lost my thread. That's okay. What is a smart contract? That's what we want to figure out as normal thing. It's basically, for me, a smart contract is a piece of code that I put on the blockchain, and it can do two things. One, it can release a value automatically. You can program it to transfer value to different people. And two, it can do this task based on conditions. Or as the almighty God of blockchain says, cryptographic boxes that contain value and unlock if certain conditions are met. So what can these conditions be in a smart contract? For example, in the shipping industry, you have a lot of cross-border payments, a lot of actors involved. There's total chaos in the finance. It takes a month to settle something and it costs a lot of money. So a shipping company made a proof of concept. They just put a GPS tracker on a boat, and they made a smart contract that listens to the GPS tracker on the boat, which contains cargo, and when the boat comes to the harbor, and the GPS location is at the harbor, the smart contract automatically releases the funds and changes the ownership of the goods. So, a smart contract can do that. Okay, cool. But I want to emphasize that smart contracts don't care about anything else other than what they're programmed to. So let's say that you have a heart monitor. And with this heart monitor, you connect it to a smart contract so that when you die, the smart contract will trigger. And what you can do here is that you can program your will. So the smart contract knows that you died, and then you can say like, okay, 60% of my money goes to my kids, the ownership of my house goes to some foundation, or blah, blah, blah. You don't have to do your children doesn't have to fight over your will anymore because they can't. It's a smart contract, it's already decided. So, there is a lot of new technology coming into the world today. Most people don't know it, and I'm guessing that most people won't know that they're using blockchain. They will just get like, oh, faster money transfer, cool. For example, in Google, they have used artificial networks, deep neural networks, for several years, since 2015, to give better search results. And they use it for a majority of the search results. And I don't, like your mother, she doesn't know that. She just searches for something and gets a really good result. And probably the same will be the case with blockchain. So now I'm going to tell a story. Your brother is an accountant. He just lost his job. This story is from the future, by the way. You invite your brother over to watch some movies because you want to comfort him. So you don't open Netflix because Netflix is actually dead. You open the new decentralized version of Netflix. And why did you choose this version instead of the old Netflix? Well, it's pretty simple. It's cheaper. So you just choose the cheap one. It's the same content. What you don't think about is that by choosing the blockchain option, you're also killing all the big cats and the middlemen in the movie industry who just wants to make a profit from hustling the actors and the producers. With the blockchain-enabled Netflix, you can see on a pie chart exactly how much the actor get paid, the producer, etc. And the transaction happens instantaneously when you watch the movie via a smart contract. So, ding dong! There is someone at the door. It's Amazon. They give you a package, you just ordered the new iPhone. Of course, like the ship, the transaction is instantly settled based on the GPS, and you pay Amazon. You get your package, and you're like, oh shit, I want an iPhone that has been produced in a fair way, and I want the workers to have been treated fairly. I don't want to support slavery by buying an iPhone. So, in the new blockchain-enabled world, you take up your supply chain app, aka you can see what has happened to the product app, scan a code, and considering this is a blockchain-enabled world, every actor in the supply chain has recorded exactly what they did and exactly how the process was on the intamperable blockchain. So you can know for sure if there has been slavery involved, how the workers have been treated, how much emissions, different stages of transport, etc. has made, and so on. So this blockchain thing is very good for Amazon, because Amazon, when you pay them, they actually don't have to pay banks or settlement clearinghouses for processing the transaction. It just happens instantly on the blockchain. It's programmed, no people involved. Also, they don't have to use an accountant, because you can just look at the history of the blockchain, which you cannot change, and programmatically make the thing that the accountant makes. And that is why my brother lost his job. Thank you. So, any questions?
What happens if the blockchain is no more intamperable?
How can that? Then you have to change it first, kind of.
Yeah. Okay. Now.
Well, I mean, if that suddenly happens, I guess.
I guess if it is based on cryptographic or cryptos.
Yeah.
Like if you get quantum computing in a couple of years or 20 years.
Yeah. There is a thing called quantum computing proof blockchains.
Yeah. So
Or yeah, kind of.
That exists now, I guess.
Yeah, they're thinking about it.
Okay.
But like anything can be hacked. We don't know everything about security. Yeah.
So one of the things I've heard mentioned when I've been reading about blockchain is the phrase "code is law."
Yeah.
Any thoughts about if you can program everything into a contract?
Yeah.
Does it take into account that sometimes there might be other things happening? Have you any examples of code is law or?
What do you mean? Can you phrase it again?
So I'm having a hard time understanding how everything can be programmed into a contract. Every kind of exception and every point.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean.
Because it's based on my understanding, it's you write a piece of code with conditions, and then you execute it, right?
Yeah.
And then after that, you're not able to change the contract.
Yeah, all the parties who are involved in the contract,
Okay.
they sign it beforehand,
Yeah.
so that when the condition for the smart contract is triggered, everything happens automatically. So you're kind of pre-agreeing. But the input for the condition is kind of outside of the blockchain, so you have to make that secure. If that is, for example, the GPS location, you don't want a fake GPS location into your smart contract. Yeah.
Would it be possible to use blockchain technology for login or for Passwords?
Yeah, for identity, most definitely. This is a huge thing in blockchain actually, because let's take medical, or do you mean identity, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's take your medical identity, your medical record. In medicine or in hospitals today, you have a lot of information silos, and sometimes one guy in one branch of the hospital has to talk to like 2-3 people just to get one piece of information. And this has been tested. You can go to a hospital and be like, hey, can I have my medical record in a PDF? And they're like, no, that doesn't work. So what if you could have an identity on the blockchain that owns your medical record, and you have complete 100% ownership of it? Because now it's just like very opaque and like random administrators here and there on pieces of your information. But if you own the information yourself, and you go to a doctor and he's like, yeah, I need this and this and this information, you can just release it to him via a smart contract and say like, yeah, he gets this information for 10 days, for example. Does that answer your question, or?
Sort of.
Sort of? Yeah.
When you say putting code on the blockchain, where is that run? Where is that executed?
Yeah, so we have the Bitcoin blockchain. The Bitcoin blockchain is a blockchain with one functionality, which is a cryptocurrency. And then the next kind of stage is the Ethereum blockchain. And the thing with the Ethereum blockchain is that you have all the miners and the underlying infrastructure that is done for you. And you can just put code on top of that and pay a fee for the code to run.
Okay, so the miners are all executing.
Yeah, it's a Turing complete virtual machine in the blockchain.
You focused a lot on the idea it's much cheaper than normal solutions today. How do you know that it's going to be improved in the future?
How I know, can you say it again?
How can you be sure that this is going to be true in the future? Because you have to pay a fee for the company that takes care of this blockchain and all your orders or contracts and so on.
Yeah.
So you basically just maybe take the bank, and instead of the bank you put this company on the blockchain or whatever. So if it's a monopoly in word making, how do you know it's not going to be even more expensive than using a bank service?
Yeah. Basically, you can.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. The question was, how do I know it's going to be cheaper? Right?
Right.
So there are a lot of different use cases, but the basic thing is that things that you need trusted third parties to perform can be executed with code. So you don't need to hire the trusted third party, such as a bank, to transfer funds from me to you. These can be executed programmatically, and the only thing you have to hire is the processing power of the network. Yeah.
So, I mean, you say we can replace it with third-party code. Then the example you gave, and it's a great example. But my worry would be that you're still trusting that. I mean, the infrastructure we have today, we trust sort of like a certain label on a food product to say, oh, this means that the people that made this were paid properly, or stuff like that. Won't we still need these trusted third parties as inputs to smart contracts in order to verify that these workers were actually paid, or that indeed the addresses that you're sending the cash to is going to them? You know, I mean,
Yeah. So there is like two things. One is can you trust the input, and the second was that can you know that the address is correct?
Well, can you verify that the people that it's being claimed that you're seeing on these contracts are really the beneficiaries of your payment.
What do you mean? Like
I suppose if I see a contract, if so, you got your example of the film, right? And you go and you can see how much you're paying, and maybe you can even tweak the parameters.
Yeah.
The point is, do you know that these are? Because how do you verify that the money is actually going to the people that correspond to these addresses that you know of?
In that case, in the case of verifying if the actor gets the money on the Netflix blockchain, they publish the content. So the first person who publishes the content owns it, and they choose the addresses for the smart contract. And that is basically how you trust the system. If I publish a movie, I'm not going to write a wrong address to myself because I want money, right? And the second thing, that is actually a very good question. Can you trust the input? I don't know. You can't right now. It's actually what Anders and I is working on in our master thesis. How can you make systems where not only the data is intamperable, but the information recording process is more trusted?
Yeah, so information is coming from outside sources, such as like you were talking about earlier from GPS, or maybe even like is it sunny today or something, and it needs to be input into the blockchain. I mean, how do you trust that input? Is that what you're working on?
Yeah, that is a very open question in blockchain right now, because you kind of need either trusted hardware like a GPS or a trusted third party to enter information, and yeah, you have to place trust in that process.
And you also have to trust the company that does the transactions for you, right?
What?
You also have to trust this company that makes the transaction for you. As you did this.
I have to trust a company that makes transactions for me if it's not on the blockchain, yeah. But on the blockchain...
Even in the blockchain, I mean, this was my question before, you don't... I mean, you input in a code in company, right? And
yeah.
The code is open source, it's stored somewhere where everybody can verify it.
Yeah. That's great. What is the question?
There is no single entity that controls it.
I know that.
Yeah, and everybody runs like in plain line, and everybody comes to a consensus by doing proof of work. So there is no entity that, like you said, monopoly as well. These things does not exist in the cryptocurrency space because everyone does it, and if you don't follow the rules, you just out of the system. That's it. Is that what you are asking?
Yeah, I wanted to know, I mean, if this software that you're using, the
Well,
transaction, for example, is like open source and things like
It is open source, so you just download it. If you know the programming language that is written in, you can verify it by yourself. But mostly it's probably trust because the code is there, everybody is running it, and if you download it, you probably trust the comments. That's it.
But it is a very good point though, because like for example in Ethereum there's this whole DAO thing, right?
Yeah.
So if you write one code, so it's like
That is basically the same as a smart contract.
Yeah, that also relates to the question that was asked there about how you can make sure that every condition is satisfied. You cannot. You write a program and you try to predict. Also, you can leave a backdoor, for example, saying that if something goes wrong or if none of these conditions are met, these guys who have these keys can resolve the problem manually. And then these guys might be governments or some trusted third parties or other companies that you trust. But basically, you cannot program everything in code.
Yeah. Also, the blockchain itself, or the actors can vote on a third party, which is trusted by the members of the blockchain to execute disputes, right? For example.
Is there any applications, mobile applications, or products that I can go in and test that has blockchain-enabled technology? Because there's a lot of talking about these big systems, but does it have a real use case for me right now?
Right now? There is, I got a little bit blank in my head right now, but you have a good answer.
You mean smart contracts or any kind of...
Just anything you can use.
Bitcoin.
Okay, so but something different than cryptocurrency. I've seen some videos about locks being blockchain.
Related to supply chain, you have a company that does the tracking of diamonds. So basically, you don't want to buy a blood diamond.
Okay.
So they track the diamond at every stage and take a picture of it, etc., and put it on the blockchain. And then they show you like, hey, this diamond is not blood diamond, for example.
I also have one example of an application that's built on blockchain. I think it's built on Ethereum. It's called IPFS.
Yeah.
It's basically a file system built on blockchain. So the file just exists on the blockchain, but the interface is kind of, I don't know, based on, it's somewhat similar to a Dropbox or something like that. So you can actually download it and just, it's really slow because very few are using it, but you can upload a file and then try to access that file again.
Yeah.
So right now it's not usable for applications, but as a proof of concept, you can download it, use the interface, and at least try it. So that actually works.
Yeah. And most things are in like beta stage. There are some, you heard about prediction markets. The wisdom of the crowds. You can try to predict whether who's going to be the next president, and I can do like I think Obama is going. No, I mean Hillary is going to win, and if she wins, she didn't, but then I get money, for example. So you can kind of bet on the future and see the wisdom of the crowd. And what you said is also very important, because in blockchain and Ethereum, we have the decentralized computer, which does all the computation, but you need a decentralized database, and that is the interplanetary file system, or at least a part of it. Yeah.
Okay, just to give you another example, there exists a lot of different cryptocurrencies, right? With a lot of different implementations, and one cryptocurrency I know of that's called Dash. They actually use the blockchain technology to hire people or to pay people for different concepts that they want to accomplish. So say you have some proposal and you want some money for it. You propose it, and then the network actually votes, do we want to pay this guy or not? And if they decide to pay you, then the network itself pays you. So you're hired by the network. So that's an example of how in the future you can have more jobs like that where people are full-time employed by the network itself. And some people actually are paid already for working on this technology by the network itself.
Yeah, that's cool. And also related to that, there is this blockchain app on your computer that is going on to beta right now. And what they're doing is basically a decentralized company. So you have a company and you have some decision makers. They set out, they propose tasks, and anyone who joins the network, not necessarily a part of the company, can do the task given, and then they will receive money or stake in the company. Point is that the whole process of choosing who's going to do something is programmed. So, for example, let's say that I'm a web developer and I go to one guy and do one task. I don't get paid so much because I haven't proven to the blockchain that I know anything yet. But as I accumulate experience in that system, I will get reputation on the blockchain, which is very trusted. And then I can be trusted with more difficult tasks that other firms promote, and basically can just sit and do stuff for different people, and they can trust me because they can see that I've earned a reputation by doing other things in this network and earning money. Is that understandable? Basically, the whole company is on blockchain. Yeah.
Let's say you're 10 years into the future and we manage to get a consensus on a global blockchain. How are we going to scale it?
I don't
It's
know.
going to be, I don't know how that's going to work because different third world countries download the entire blockchain.
Yeah.
Like in Bitcoin, it takes like 20 minutes to affect the transaction. It's going to be only get slower.
Yeah.
So there are serious scalability concerns with the blockchain today.
Yeah.
In regards to the ideas you shared earlier.
Yeah. We have the Bitcoin blockchain, which is really not scalable right now.
Alpha software.
Yeah, you should consider Bitcoin a beta for blockchain. Although you can trust it, it doesn't scale infinitely forever. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, first of all, I'm working on.
Yeah, you're working on the Lightning Network.
Solutions for Bitcoin specifically.
Yeah.
But truth to be told, the scalability solution in general for blockchain space is yet to be invented. That's the biggest problem in the area, and probably if there was a solution, we would all use Bitcoin by now. Yeah. If you're talking about different applications, there might be different blockchains. That's one way to go. But if you're talking about just Bitcoin as a system for transactions, like payment transactions, there are solutions proposed now. And one of the solutions that I'm working on is Lightning Network. Part of it, it's the concept of off-chain transactions. So the concept is about moving Bitcoin transactions out of blockchain. And the way you can do this is by introducing payment channels. So you, with one transaction on blockchain, you set up a payment channel between two people. And by applying some smart cryptography, you can achieve Bitcoin transactions within this channel, and you can have as many of them as you want. And if you want to close the channel, you put another Bitcoin transaction on the chain.
But can you compose and merge them? Because if you have a Norwegian blockchain, right, for property and stuff like that, that's interesting. But if I want to look at the blockchain in America, and I want to know every property you own, can you merge those two?
There is also a concept of side chains, which allow to lock coins in one blockchain and open them in another blockchain. So you can move your value across blockchains. But again, it's more like, if we're talking about countries now, it's more about legal recognition of the technologies. So the ground for that is being built now, but it has to be adopted on the legal level first, right? So it's going to take years, 5, 10, no so many.
Another question. Aside being decentralized, what's the main difference to classical CAs?
What is this?
Classical certificate authorities, which can validate, say, a document or whatever.
But decentralized is
aside being decentralized.
You cannot regulate these systems.
Yeah, I mean, aside being
freedom.
decentralized, that's clear. But
well, basically, Bitcoin is all about decentralized because there have been many cryptocurrencies before Bitcoin. The whole area of cryptocurrency started in 80s, but every cryptocurrency before Bitcoin was centralized. Bitcoin is the first decentralized, and that's the main push. So if we're talking about revolution here, we're talking about blockchain, which allows us to decentralize.
Yeah, but then I would be very critical of all these applications of central actors like governments or so. Why should a government use a decentralized technology to run, for example, a property register?
To save costs and to kill corruption.
That's a very good point. And there are actually, like, I'm Ukrainian myself, and surprisingly, Ukrainian government is using some of blockchain technologies to fight corruption. And there are projects like a decentralized auction. So when the government has an auction, it can influence on the outcome. But once you put it on the blockchain, you cannot influence that. Well, what is the interest for the government? I don't know, but people like it. And the government likes when people like them, right? Well, it's a political game as well, so, but for people, it's definitely a great value.
It gives you complete transparency.
That is, yeah.
Yeah, but that's also some disadvantage.
But when it comes to governments, that's great.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, but if you think about private actors, finance services,
Yeah.
is that really that huge advantage?
Yeah, well, you can choose to have a private key that you don't share with anyone. And you can use public trading keys. Here's what I want to share with you. I bought some apples at the store and stuff like that. If I wanted to buy an apartment, I can use my private key. And since you don't know that, you can track that transaction without iterating the entire blockchain. So there are solutions to that.
I just have 2 points I want to make. First off, you asked why should the government use decentralized technology? And I think an important point is that, well, we created a government, right? The people. And the government works for us. So the real question is really, why should we use the government instead of blockchain technology? Why should we use them, like a centralized service instead of the decentralized one? We can actually replace parts of the government with this decentralized technology. And the second thing I wanted to say was the scalability problem. I know that right now there's really talented people that are working on solutions to this problem. And the scalability problem is really that, for example, in Bitcoin, you can only have like 7 transactions per second. And if you have that as a base layer, then you can build another layer on top where you can have more transactions. And a very promising way is a credit-based one, where you can say like, well, this person sends $10 to that person, which sends $10 to that person, and $10 to that person. That's like 3 transactions, but you only need to record 1, right? So you can cut away a lot of transactions. And I think the developer team that I have read about that works with this right now, they aim for, like pretty much having like an unlimited scalability. So that will be no problem if they succeed.
Cool. So any more general questions, or seems like we're getting into the discussion right now? Yeah, okay. Let's call it for now and give each other a round of applause and have some discussion.